Pierce trying to go up against Regal. He must be out his mind. He must be out his mind, y'all. We gonna talk about that and so much more because he crazy. My name is Jordan Moser, and this is your NXT Recap and Review. First up in the night to kick off, we got a tag team match between the NXT Tag Team Champions Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan against Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Just an aggressive start to this match. We see Burch and Timothy Thatcher just going at it, aggressive with the grappling and just the uppercuts and everything like that. It was incredible. And then we got Oney Lorcan and Ciampa coming into the match, and they're just throwing strikes and slaps and everything like that. It was wonderful. And they're all just trading shots in the first couple of minutes until we see Burch hit Thatcher with the clothesline, knocks him outside the ring. It definitely looked like a real stinger, like he reacted like it was and sold it like it was. And they all just go out to check on him before we go into our commercial break. Coming back from break, and we see Lorcan has Thatcher in a single leg Boston Crab, and he eventually escapes. He gets out of there and he tags in Ciampa, and he comes in on a roll, just coming in with the clotheslines and all, just eventually taking out both men with the double clothesline. And it's in the back end of this match, we see Ciampa and Thatcher, they're having a little bit of fun, you know, the tag team continuity. They're in the corner just throwing various and different strikes against Burch in the corner to keep control, and then we see them in the ring just clubbing on their opponents and having fun, and they have a smile on their face and they're enjoying themselves, and it's lovely. We love to see them just coming together. It's awesome. And after an excellent sequence that leaves all four men laid out in the ring, we do see the end of this match as Thatcher is recovering and Ciampa as well, and they're just trying to get on the attack. We see Imperium end up on the apron and everybody's confused and such. We could kind of see Thatcher talking with one of the members, Bartel, a little bit before the match, but they just show up on the ramp. That allows Oney and Danny enough time to knock Ciampa off the apron, hit that elevated DDT for the 1-2-3 and the win for the NXT Tag Team Champions. And then Ciampa and Thatcher are just distraught in the middle of the ring afterwards, wondering what's happening. And we do see a little bit later on, Thatcher explains it as his past kind of coming back to haunt them. I don't really know where this is going, but I'm definitely down for any combination of Ciampa and Thatcher against Imperium. Like, that just sounds fun to me, and that sounds mad exciting. Definitely a good match between the two. Definitely got to show off just aspects of the continuity between Thatcher and Ciampa really coming together, and of course the Brits, they do their thing always. So yeah, this is just good stuff to go off and kick off the show. Next up, we do see Roddy in the ring as we come back from break, all somber looking and sad. He throws down the dog tags. He's like, hey man, I demand Adam Cole come out here right now. If you care about me in any way, get your butt out here. And that eventually brings out Finn Balor. He comes out talking, man, like, Cole don't care about you. like Cole ain't worried about you. He used you. He played you, bro. But Balor is still looking for Cole. Don't forget that. He's been attacked 2 weeks in a row. And so he gets up in the camera. He's like, hey, I know how to get you out here. Cole versus Balor next week for the NXT Championship. That is going to be a barn burner. But even after he announced that, he just looks at Roddy like, hey, bro, you'll never be a leader. Unless you get greedy, unless you get that killer instinct, you ain't never gonna be nothing. And then Roddy attacks, of course, because he's pissed off, and they brawl and stuff like that until referees come out and separate them up. And then we get that eventually announced as the main event for this show. Good way to lead into the main event. I definitely like the chemistry between Roddy and Balor, so I'm definitely looking forward to that a little bit later. But just good stuff to kind of set that up and set up the NXT Championship match for next week. I'm gonna just talk about the whole therapies thing in one so we don't have to spread it out. We do see the therapy segment with The Way as they're just there to help Austin Theory kind of get over Dexter Lumis and his adoration for Dexter Lumis, apparently. We see Gargano, who is definitely the most entertaining part about this entire thing, especially at the beginning. Therapies, like, he's so funny. But yeah, they're just trying to make Austin see, like, hey, this dude kidnapped you. Like, legit, like, held you in a room for like 3 days. 3 days, bro. And the lady, she was trying to turn everything back on Johnny, and he won't having it. They start getting pissed. They start arguing at each other. Nicely cast lady, though, by the way. I like the way they cast her. Really nice. He eventually gets kicked out the room, so it's just Austin, Indy, and Candice at that point. Indy continues to get nasty about Dexter Lumis. I don't understand why, and we eventually see Candice unfortunately get unmasked as texting Gargano throughout the whole thing, and they get kicked out as well. So at this point, it's just Austin Theory, and he's just sitting there and he's just explaining like, I thought it was a nice time, you know, I thought we were enjoying ourselves. I watched cartoons, I had cereal, and then the therapist goes, you know, I actually talked to Dexter Lumis, which is weird because he don't talk. And she just kind of explains that he really wanted to get rid of Austin Theory. Like, he didn't like him. He thought that he dressed weird. He thought that he looked weird. He thought he was annoying. And this sends Austin Theory out crying. And we eventually see Gargano eventually come back into the room and pay off the therapist. It was a ruse. It was a ruse all along. But we see her get paid off, and she just calls them a bunch of idiots, which they are. But yeah, this was it was all right. Johnny Gargano, definitely the most entertaining thing about it, but it wasn't really necessary. But hopefully it gets the way kind of on the right track that they were kind of going in before the whole Dexter Lumis thing happened, and they just head back in that trajectory. So this was what it needed to be, I guess, and Johnny Gargano definitely entertaining as always. Next up, we have a match between Aaliyah and Ember Moon, with both Robert Stillbrand and Shotzi Blackheart respectively out there with them. Not too much to say about this match. A lot early. Moon just wasn't letting Aaliyah get out of the blocks at all. We see them eventually fight on the outside, and Moon pretty much had control for a good portion of this. So we do see Aaliyah get a bit of offense in a little bit throughout the match, but it definitely didn't amount to anything. We do see Storm and Kamea kind of try to get involved as well, and they're taken out by Shotzi Blackheart at the end. Ember Moon hits the Eclipse for the 1-2-3 and the win. Yeah, like I said, not too much to say about it. Definitely a weird kind of filler spot in the show. A little bit sloppy at times, so wasn't really feeling it too much. Hopefully we just move past that. Aaliyah's been in developmental for like 7 years. I would hope she would get better by now. And I like her. I like her in the ring a little bit, but yeah, I just need something more, you know, something more. But yeah, this was, what it was. Next up, we have the women's tag team title match between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Nia Jax and Shayna Basler. This did happen in the middle of the show, and once it did, I was like, oh no, this is not going to go how I wanted to. And it didn't, but we'll get to that. We do see at the beginning Nia Jax just disrespecting and demolishing Dakota Kai. Both her and Shayna Baszler really for the most part. And that's until Kai starts to try to fight back, but she gets more and more demolished. They do eventually try to bring it back to the arm spot as Shayna Baszler tries to destroy Kai's arm again, but she gets out the way and she just starts getting technical with it, just throwing her all around the ring and stuff like that until she's eventually thrown outside the ring as all four women face off as we go into our commercial break. I noticed the formula with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez tag team matches. Whenever Dakota Kai is in the ring, it's not going fairly well at all, really. And then we see Raquel in the match, and everything is hunky-dory fine, and they're prospering, and they're successful. And I'm like, well, why would you ever tag out, sis? Like, work smarter, not harder. Come on now, you know what's up. But we do see, as we come back from break, Kai is just continuing to be destroyed. But she eventually does hit a couple of super kicks to Basler to kind of get control. She gets that tag into Raquel Gonzalez, and boy, she came in with a drop. Ooh, that drop kick looked so fire, y'all. Just that 6-foot frame getting up in the air, and she continues to just work over Basler for a good while. And we do see her tag in Nia Jax, and they just start to brawl and just like trade shots and everything like that, which is what we were waiting for. You know, the big girls go at it, you know. But we eventually see later on as Raquel actually tagged Kai back into the match for some reason. Shayna eventually gets the Cure Feudal Clutch in on Kai, and as Kai is trying to come to make the tag to Raquel, Nia is distracting them on the apron and the ref as well, and Raquel just comes in with the boot to take out Jax and the referee as well, and she's just laid out. And then outside the ring, Raquel just takes Nia out over the announcer's table as well, so everybody's laid out there. And we do see as Cure Feudal Clutch is again applied in the ring from Shayna onto Dakota Kai, but the ref is still out. Adam Pearce comes out with another referee, a Raw referee, I forget what name they said, but he's just there to basically just count the fall and just say that Kai submitted, and he rings the bell and all that, and that is the win for Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. We see them celebrate on the ramp and stuff like that. Kai and Gonzalez are like, what happened, bro? Like, what happened? I don't know where this is leading to. I really don't. I understand the idea of Pierce wanting to keep the women's tag team titles on the main roster. I definitely understand it, but I don't know what's gonna come of this. We do eventually see him and Regal kind of laughing and stuff like that and arguing later on, but yeah, just confused about this. I definitely hope at least it's something good. We know Regal has a big announcement coming next week, which I'm looking forward to, of course. But yeah, interesting little development here. Maybe it's a NXT WWE war, you know? We would love to see that come WrestleMania time. But yeah, definitely piquing my interest indeed. Next up, we do have a promo from LA Knight. He just comes out pretty much just to stake his claim on the NXT roster. He talks about comparing himself to Tom Brady and how, hey, he's not the first round pick or anything like that, but he'll be out here setting records and such. He calls himself pretty much the best NXT that they've ever seen in NXT, even though he hasn't done anything as of yet. Talks about how you can forget your Garganos and your Balors and your Coles and your O'Reillys and all that because he's the man now. He's here to stay. He's claiming his name here in NXT. But yeah, a solid promo from LA Knight. Nothing that I wouldn't expect from him from what he usually does in the past and stuff like that. So this is pretty solid, and we see his big first feud kind of coming up here a little bit. We see as he finishes his promo, Bronson Reed kind of interrupts and comes to the ring, kind of stealing the spotlight, and LA Knight kind of reluctantly gets out the ring, of course, as it leads into Reed's match with Cameron Grimes. And next up, we do have that aforementioned match between Bronson Reed and Cameron Grimes. A match made earlier on in the show. This is pretty much Grimes' punishment for attacking a crew member last week from William Regal. We see Grimes is still understandably mad at Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, for reasons, of course, you understand, I get it. But we do see the beginning of this match. Reed is not letting anything happen, pretty much. We see Cameron Grimes just counting money like, how much you want? You want 3, 4, and Reed just stacks him. Like, he's done. And we see him as we go into the break. Reed just eventually sit on Cameron Grimes, only for a 2 count though, but still a fun visual nonetheless. Coming back from break-in, Grimes is pretty much trying to use anything to gain control in this match. He's getting a little crafty. We see him use some speed, stomping on the hand. Nice little Spanish fly as well, only for a 2 count. But at this point, he tries to just do some kicks to the chest on Reed, and that ain't gonna work because that's a thick boy, you know? And at this point, Reed just starts to demolish him and destroy him. Grimes tries to go for a walk, and Reed hits a suicide dive on him. Boy, watching the big boy fly. It's incredible. We do see the end of this match as Reed is going up top for the Tsunami Splash. LA Knight comes back out. He throws the hat into the ring of Cameron Grimes to kind of distract the referee. That allows him to take off Reed off the top rope. Grimes just takes advantage, hits the cave in for the 1, 2, 3, and the win for Cameron Grimes. And he celebrates in the most obnoxious way, as he does. And it's brilliant nonetheless. But pretty solid match between these two. It definitely got bogged down by the commercial break, I think, but definitely action after the commercial break, solid stuff. Loves the feud between Bronson Reed and LA Knight. I love that they're kind of going that direction. It gives Reed something to do if he's not going after the North American Championship at the moment, and definitely for Reed, just a way to kind of re-implement himself, and for Knight, just a way to kind of implement himself kind of in NXT, his first major feud. So hopefully his talking and stuff like that is kind of going to carry this for the most part, and we'll see how this kind of formulates over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, solid match between Reed and Grimes, and definitely a nice first feud for LA Knight. Next up, I guess we were supposed to have a match between Everrise and Breezango, but Legado del Fantasma, Wild and Mendoza, they do attack, taking out Breezango on the outside, and they eventually try to take out Everrise as well, but they get out the ring beforehand. But then Santos Escobar, Cruiserweight Champion, comes out and attacks Everrise as well, throws him against the barricade, slams the head against the steps, and to take everything out, all 4 men are just laid out, and Legado's in the ring, and they're super serious now. They're super serious, and Escobar's just like, hey, don't sleep on us. Don't sleep on me. Like, I'm still the Cruiserweight Champion. Don't take last week as a moment of weakness. And they're just pretty much here staking their claim to dominance again. I love the most serious Legado del Fantasma. I needed this. They're definitely one of the best factions that they have in NXT and in WWE in general. Definitely allow them to be serious. Allow them to be Four Horsemen-esque and that kind of like that ilk. Like, please let them do that, please. Let them get more serious. I'm definitely for everything that this was. And last up in our main event, we have Finn Balor versus Roderick Strong. We see Roddy come out with new music, new attire, new jacket, everything like that. He's looking pretty sleek. I like to see it. But then the match starts and it's all ugliness. It's just an immediate lockup, and we see them boys going at it with the mat work and the graps. Beth said it was an Olympic level contest. I was like, slow down, Beth. Slow down now. But it was good mat work at the beginning. Balor kind of taking control and kind of taking the lead on that grappling. But that's until Roderick Strong does hit the takeover and a backbreaker as we go into our commercial break, or picture-in-picture. Coming back from breaking, we do see Balor just continuing to work on that arm of Roderick Strong, but Strong does come back, hits a nice couple of backbreakers as well to kind of gain back control. This definitely did break down into a fight that we're very used to seeing from Balor as of late, and with the likes of Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne, kind of in that similar ilk, just a bit shorter and less intense, of course. But we do see Strong, he really impressed in this match more than we have seen in just a long time. He hits a nice little Olympic slam, double underhook powerbomb combo only for a 2 count. He got a strong hold on Balor as well to try to make him submit as well. That didn't really get the job done. But yeah, down the stretch for this, they're just throwing strikes left and right and everything like that. But Balor does eventually takes over, hits that sling blade, that drop kick, the coup de grace from the top rope, and then that 1916 to finish it off for the 1-2-3 and the win for NXT champion Finn Balor. And he just celebrates in the ring. He holds the title high and he looks to his left and he sees Adam Cole just sitting on the stage, just waiting for next week. 7 days, boys, before we get that match between NXT champion Finn Balor and Adam Cole for the title next week. Can't wait for it. But honestly, this was an amazing match. Nice little main event match between Balor and Strong. They definitely pulled everything out of the box that they had. Strong most definitely has impressed just in singles action more than he has in a little bit here. It was definitely good to just see him really kind of revel in singles action again, kind of separated from the Undisputed Era. So this was all good. Definitely reminiscent of what we've seen from Balor in the past, and he's on a different level right now. Come on. And now we see Cole kind of in the equation. I'm gonna be real. I feel like Cole is gonna win next week, and I don't know if I want that per se. But I'm definitely looking forward to next week and see what they do with that NXT Championship match. But this was a great main event, and that's the end of another week of NXT. And that is going to do it for me. Another solid week of NXT. 2 of the top matches, just the match in the main event, that Balor versus Strong match, definitely impressed a whole lot. And that women's tag team title match before that awful ending that was very WWE-esque. I didn't like it. Didn't like Pierce. But whatever it leads to, I hope it's incredible. Whatever it leads to, I hope it's good. But just some solid action throughout the show. The Reed versus Cameron Grimes match was definitely a nice treat as well as the opening match of the tag team match as well. So definitely just solid action throughout the show. The compiling of different feuds and stuff like that. We see the LA Knight and Bronson Reed feud kick off. So definitely a lot of things kind of stem from this show. We're kind of hitting that little, we're taking off after TakeOver Vengeance Day. So we're definitely headed in the right direction, just the right pace. And next week is going to be insane. We got 2 championship matches. We see Xia Li going up against Kaden Carter. It's gonna be good stuff. Gonna be good stuff next week. Can't wait for it. But that is gonna be it from your boy. I will catch you later. We got videos coming out the week. Like, share, subscribe, the whole 9, all the cliche stuff. Tell your mama, tell your grandma, tell your daddy, tell your granddaddy, of course. But I'll catch y'all on the flip. I'll see y'all soon. Peace out. Love each other, love one another, everything like that. Be safe out here. Be safe. Come on now. Peace out.